Today is May 4th. I was scared of watching this from the library because I know I would cry. I know there was Korean characters and everything Korean makes me cry pretty much. And I'm not even far into the movie. It's two of the main characters just told each other they missed each other. And the thoughts I'm having, when you have feelings, you have to trace them specifically to the thoughts. And these are the most powerful messages that you are sending yourself. And I've been wanting to kind of learn Spanish, thinking I might find love there because I just kind of sent a little secret intention in the universe that I'm very grateful for my cat. But I would like to meet a girl that falls in love with me and that I would fall in love with too. And I would just love her in just the right ways, and it's almost like I don't expect the same. Like, it'd be nice if she's in love with me, but to love me in the same ways is beyond what most people I've met are capable of, especially from Korea. And that's it's a risk, man. I find so much of my passions are linked to Korean identity or culture, or maybe a mixture of both. It's hard to explain. And just the idea of Korean as a phenomenon, I know it's hard to explain, but it just gets to me a lot more than any other culture, and that's often when I listen to songs that I don't even know what the lyrics mean. It'd be easier for me to learn Spanish, and maybe more likely for me to travel to a Spanish country and meet a woman that I'd fall in love with that would fall in love with me. But for some reason, now I'm saying, should I make an effort to learn Korean now? And when I was traveling, I was in Japan, Vietnam, Korea, and I didn't want to make any efforts to learn the languages. I mean, there was a little bit of stubbornness and intellectual laziness, but it was mostly because it was important for my theory to demonstrate the commonalities between individuals that were not related to languages, that were about communication, like non-verbal communication, facial expressions, the same events we all go through and we all experience in similar ways, so as to understand the human condition and humanics in general. Humanics, again, I'll define as Isaac Asimov did in his science fiction stories, and it's more like patterns that are generally accurate that you can count on, except that you have to be an objective scientist and you have to do your own personal development to be able to not place your own identity on the data or interpretations on the data or psychohistory on the data. And I mean psychohistory in the right way, not in the science fiction way of Isaac Asimov, is if you put your own life journeys or life experiences too much in the data you collect, then you don't collect data that is understood the right way, because humanics is separate from you in the sense that you have to observe patterns in bulk so as to create the understanding of humanics that cause and effect, stimuli and response in our lives. And of course, the more you know how to psychologically profile a person, the more it helps to fine tune what you believe will be the response. And that's kind of the predictable ability of my theories on HSD and also on humanics, and applying them to socio-cybernetics as a culture pair is to do well for the Korean culture if I went there, and if they'd let me at a higher level, it'd be easy for me to create culture repair projects that would help them along their maturation process, and that would be linked to their language. That means North Korea would have access to it, and maybe there'd be a reconciliation. And there should be, because, just like what's happening between the elites of Israel and Gaza, and what's happening to a lesser extent between the elites of Ukraine and Russia, but even more likely than Ukraine, Russia, but less likely than Gaza, Israel is North and South Korea. Are able to alter tipping points or the journey of the history of our proto civilizations on this planet. So it's important that they heal, because they could be the role models for improvement, or they could be the guiding actors that lead to an accelerating Anthropocene before people realize just what their kids should actually be preparing for, if they think it's even a good idea to have kids with what's coming. And what's coming relates to all systems, not just the Earth systems of the natural world, but the people primate systems and their proto-societies, and how they will collapse in different ways, and how understanding humanics will understand how this will unfold. Of course, humanics vary a little bit per culture, but not specifically. Like if somebody's hungry in one country, they'll respond in a similar way as if they're hungry in another country that don't even know, the language or much about the other place. These are constants, but there's also different flavors to their societies. So let's say poverty or hunger in those places will create in mass different responses. Anyways, this was supposed to be my own psychohistory, and how I'm grateful for my cat, but I still want love in my life, like real love. And one movie I was thinking about yesterday, and I can't remember if I bought all three. I think there's three. I don't think there's four. Is Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and I can't remember the title of the third one. These are powerful movies of the human condition and relationships over the long term, and learning about ourselves, and the choices that are made often in response to emotions, and how they shape lives. So this one is called Past Lives, and I'm not too sure exactly what's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it so much that I'll trigger in my memory a fairly thorough deletion of the story, so that I can watch it again and be surprised. But not the feeling, right? Not the feeling that I enjoyed it, that I want to watch it again. It'll just be, I'll mostly make myself forget it. But I'm really into the fine tuning of picking up the nuances of the body language of the faces, and linking the language to the translation in English at the bottom. And this is a very relatable movie. Okay, so if people think, oh, it's Korean characters, whatever, I don't have anything in common, then you're fools. Watch it. We are all the same. We don't want to be alone, and we cherish love so much more than we realize, even though most of our daytime hours are linked to the pursuit of stuff, material possessions, the accumulation of wealth, or the reduction of the loss of wealth. Is really what we care about, is to be loved and love others, and to be witnessed, and to share our stories with each other over time. And that only comes when you have the right kind of life skills to be able to do so, which we have less and less as a failed primate species. So again, I would love to train people to be life skills coaches in English that speak Korean as well, and pass on these skill sets, because there's so much passion in them over there. And it's just, you see it repressed inside them,